You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Henry Silverman, and as chair, I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York Convention Center Development Corporation for Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask any questions at any time. We welcome public comment on today's agenda items. I will note for the record that the public was given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by 3 o'clock yesterday, and no comments were received. I will also note that we do have members of the public attending today's meeting. Before we begin the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on today's agenda. If so, I would ask you to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. We will then be sure that you may recuse yourself from any discussion or vote with regard to such item or items. Hearing nothing, I note that our first intended item, approval of the minutes of the directors' meeting of March 25th, 2025, will be presented at our next meeting once fully finalized. So, moving on to our next agenda item, I will now ask Rebecca Pellegrini, president of the corporation, to start things off with the president's report. I will note for the record that this item is being presented for your information only, and no vote is required. Rebecca?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you everyone for being here today. Appreciate it. I will keep my comments brief. We have a very full agenda today. So I'll start with construction updates. As mentioned during previous meetings, with respect to the expansion project, there have been a handful of items left to be done pertaining to construction deficiencies, none of which affect safety or operations of the facility. And since our last meeting, CCDC has all the requisite operating permits in place. We've obtained the final code compliance certificate from DASNY, commonly referred to as the CCC. As a condition to the issuance of the CCC, DASNY required 2 additional items to be addressed. The first of those items, reinforcement of the roof trellis, has been completed to DASNY's satisfaction, and I want to thank CCOC for their stewardship in leading that effort. Thank you. The second item still left to be addressed is the sewer line connection, which CCDC can pursue dependent on one of our agenda items today that would grant a permanent easement to New York City Department of Environmental Protection. And should that easement be granted, CCDC will pursue still needed connections. Regarding the 2 site dispositions previously mentioned, the Site K request for proposals was issued in July of 2023, and just to remind you, Site K 6th Street, 11th Avenue, and Hudson Boulevard West, nestled between Javits and Bella Asbuk. After a thorough review, the Hudson Boulevard Collective, a partnership of BRP companies, BXP, the Moynihan Group, and Urbane Development, with minority-owned businesses representing 31% of the development team, has been conditionally designated to create a transformative $1.35 billion mixed-use project at Site K to be named Hudson. Hudson will consist of 2 towers, the east tower of which will deliver the largest mixed income housing development in the neighborhood, 30% of which will be permanently affordable units. And the west tower will strengthen the New York City convention and tourism infrastructure with a flagship Hilton hotel development. The Hudson development will create significant long-term economic opportunities for New York State through both construction and permanent job creation. The project is expected to generate thousands of construction jobs over its multi-year development, followed by hundreds of permanent positions across hospitality, retail, and building operations. In addition to the 2 towers, Hudson Boulevard Collective has designed extensive public space improvements that will transform the pedestrian experience along 35th Street, including landscaping, seating, lighting, and a seamless connection between Javits, Bella Asbuk Park, and broader Hudson Yards District. Currently, environmental review of the development project is underway, with the first public scoping sessions anticipated in the next few months. CCDC also intends to dispose of the truck marshalling site, former truck marshalling site, although there is no timetable established at this time. On to the slaughterhouse development. As previously approved by this board, CCDC has executed the light and air easement and the restrictive declaration with the City of New York pertaining to the planned development at 495 11th Avenue, which is at the corner of 40th Street and 11th Avenue. And sits directly adjacent to the easternmost wall of the truck marshalling building. Included in today's agenda, we are seeking authorization for an access agreement, which CCOC will be a party to as well. The access agreement is to ensure coordination with CCOC during construction and plans for construction phasing, site safety plans, and any construction that may affect operational issues. We're continuing discussions and planning with the developer for a skywalk agreement that would physically connect the slaughterhouse site development, specifically the hotel tower, directly to the Javits Center. Skywalk agreement will, of course, be brought to this board for consideration at a later time once the agreement is to CCOC and CCD satisfaction. And that concludes the updates for now. Happy to take any questions.
Yeah, any questions for Rebecca? Hearing none, we'll move on to the agenda. Rebecca will now request authorization for the corporation to enter into a New York Convention Center capital funding agreement and to take related actions. Rebecca?
Thank you. CCDC possesses the means to fund capital improvements with remaining construction bond proceeds and appropriations issued in conjunction with the Javits expansion project and intended for capital. The Convention Center Operating Corporation, CCOC, in its operation and ongoing assessment of the center has identified capital investment necessary to maintain Javits' physical facilities. CCOC possesses the necessary skilled personnel to manage capital improvements that will be more efficiently accomplished if CCD funds those improvements and CCOC. Under the terms of the proposed funding agreement, CCDC will make available $10 million to CCOC in order for CCOC to carry out necessary capital improvements. The agreement will settle all outstanding amounts due to CCOC for any remaining claims, including but not limited to the Javits expansion project and the historical expansion costs. CCOC will be responsible for identifying the plans related to each capital improvement project and ensure that it complies with the terms of the agreement. CCOC will be responsible for securing any approvals or permits, as well as procurement of outside consultants and contractors pursuant to CCOC guidelines, procurement guidelines, and in compliance with New York State law. CCOC will utilize the funds made available to the agreement to pay all costs and expenses of the capital improvement project in an amount not to exceed. The directors are requested to provide authorization to enter the New York Convention Center Capital Fund Agreement and take actions.
Thanks, Rebecca. Are there any comments from the public who are attending? Are there any questions or comments from any of the directors? Yes, sir.
Just that, do this from a CCOC standpoint, we feel it's a very reasonable amount of money to accomplish what that will be accomplished. With that, I'll make a motion to be to
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Now may I have a motion to conduct an executive session pursuant to paragraph 1H of section 105 of the New York State Open Meetings Law to discuss the conditionally designated developer and proposed project for Javits Site K.
So
Second? All in favor? Thank you. The motion carries. We'll go across the hall and we'll be back shortly to continue with the meeting.
The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return. The board has entered executive session. Please stand by. The meeting will resume when they return.
Thank you. I will note for the record that no votes were taken during the executive session. Continuing with the agenda, Rebecca will also present the next item on today's agenda, an authorization to, among other things, enter into a license and access agreement with 495 11th Avenue Owner Realty LLC. Rebecca?
Thank you, Chairman. The City of New York owns vacant and undeveloped real property located at 495 11th Avenue, located on the southwest corner of 40th Street and 11th Avenue, and directly adjacent to the eastern wall of the truck marshaling facility, commonly referred to as the slaughterhouse. New York City intends to lease the premises to the New York City Land Development Corporation, which will in turn be assigned to 495 11th Avenue Owner Realty LLC, the licensee, by a ground lease for the purpose of redevelopment of the property for a mixed-use development, including a hotel with direct access to Javits. The developer seeks a license and access agreement from CCDC and the New York Convention Center Operating Corporation, CCOC, to accommodate the proposed development. Specifically, the licensee seeks a temporary, non-exclusive license agreement to enter upon a portion of Javits in order to perform construction activities, including foundation work and site safety work. The term of the license agreement will commence on the date of its execution and terminate upon the completion of the site safety work and the foundation work, but in no event later than December 30th of 2030. Along with CCDC, CCOC will be a signatory to this agreement and has thoroughly reviewed, edited, and provided approval of the final form of the agreement. CCDC feels that the development supports the 1979 CCDC enabling legislation, that development, including development of one or more hotels adjacent to the expanded Javits, is in the public interest, and therefore granting the license and access agreement is within CCDC's mission. With that, the directors are requested to provide authorization to enter into a license and access agreement with 495 11th Avenue, Owner Realty LLC, and take related actions.
Thank you, Rebecca. Are there any comments from the public? Any questions or comments from any of the directors? If not, we will now entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Thank you. The motion carries. Continuing, Rebecca will now present a request for, among other things, authorization to enter into a sewer corridor and easement agreement with the city of New York. Rebecca?
Thank you. CCDC expanded the original Javits by demolishing a portion of the original Javits and constructing a new building on property owned by CCDC on the blocks bound by 11th and 12th Avenues and 38th and 40th Streets, which is contiguous, the remaining part of the original Javits. Within the expanded Javits is a 48-inch combined sewer infrastructure that is owned and operated by the city. CCDC has constructed over that portion of the infrastructure located within the expanded Javits a vault with removable access panels and has constructed over the vault and panels the expanded Javits building. A portion of the infrastructure is located within the former 39th Street between 11th and 12th Avenues that has been taken out of service but not demapped, which remain under the jurisdiction of the city, but which CCDC has a statutory right to occupy. CCDC owns and is responsible for the vault, panels, and expanded Javits building. The city has designated the New York City Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, as the agency responsible for the administration of the easement agreement. The purpose of the permanent sewer easement is to allow the subsurface sewer line to be maintained beneath a portion of the property to support sewer infrastructure. In addition to the subsurface rights, the easement permits vehicular access rights over the vault that cover the sewer. The permanent sewer easement consists of two non-contiguous segments identified on the map included in today's materials as Parcel 1 and Parcel 2, consisting of a combined area of 6,361 square feet. DCDC will grant the easement to New York City without compensation as an accommodation to DEP for the purpose of inspecting, operating, maintaining, repairing, and replacing the infrastructure in accordance with the agreement. Along with CCDC, CCOC will be a signatory to this agreement and has thoroughly reviewed, edited, and provided approval of the final form of the agreement. The agreement addresses coordination needed between CCOC and DEP for both routine and emergency work required, as well as the rights and responsibilities of all. With that, the directors are requested to provide authorization to enter into the sewer corridor and easement agreement with the city of New York.
Yes, sir.
Point of information, Chair.
Yes.
Who in the city, so they're going to appoint a new director of the Department of Environmental Protection, right? Has that person been appointed yet?
Not to my knowledge.
So somebody comes and gets that job. Well, this work has been done. Do they get to reinvent? I'm trying to understand with the change in administration, all this work that you've done, is this something that is a no-brainer that gets checked by somebody, or is somebody going to come look at this and start asking you a million questions?
We hope the former. No, we've taken many steps to try and make it be the former, including working with the lawyer at DEP and city law to kind of have it all buttoned up and ready to sign.
The staff is still there, right?
So there's permanent government. There's some sort of permanent
The
government.
staff that has been working on this both at the law department and at
Good.
are the
Okay,
same.
Good. Okay, good. I move the motion.
Second,
I have a question. The resolution says that there's no reasonable alternative. That occurs to me, but somebody evaluated whether there's some other path.
Well, that's a requirement for us to look at under the public authorities law whenever we make a disposition of property under fair market value. So it's just kind of one of the statutory factors we have to recite and examine in each year. And here, you know, where the easement is literally under the new Javits building.
And they're not going to move the sewers.
Right. No.
It's what it is. Okay.
Okay, we had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Moving on, Rebecca will now present a request for authorization to enter into a contract with AKRF Inc. to provide environmental consulting services in connection with the Javits Site K development project and take related actions.
Chairman. As discussed earlier today, CCDC has conditionally designated a developer for Site K development to be named Hudson. Excuse me. In order to implement the project, ESD and CCDC, with the cooperation of the designated developer, must comply with legal and regulatory requirements, including but not limited to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations, commonly referred to as SECRA, Section 14.09 of the New York State Historic Preservation Act, and the New York State Urban Development Corporation Act. It is anticipated that such SECRA review will require the preparation of an environmental impact statement, complex document which will analyze potential impacts and requisite mitigation for the proposed project. Such undertaking will require the specialized expertise of an environmental consultant to prepare a SECRA document, including an environmental impact statement as necessary. After a competitive bid process, an ESD committee of real estate, environmental, and legal staff recommended retention of AKRF to produce the project's environmental compliance documents based on knowledge and expertise of the firm and team of consultants, relevant experience, and the pre-qualification process. Consultant is a New York City firm with vast experience in preparing secret compliant documentation for similar large-scale projects, and the consultant has satisfactorily performed similar work for ESD and CCDC for many years. The term of the contract will be for 2 years with options to extend for up to 2 additional 1-year terms. Compensation will be structured on the time and materials basis with a not to exceed amount of $2.5 million, including contingency and expenses. And the source of funding will be the developer funded account established for Site K disposition matters. Directors are requested to authorize a contract with AKRF Inc. to provide environmental consulting services in connection with the Javits Site K development and to take the legal actions.
Thanks, Rebecca. Are there any comments from the public? Questions or comments from the directors? If not, we need a motion to approve. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. And now, the final item on the agenda today, Rebecca, please present the request for authorization to enter into a contract with Carter, Ledyard, and Milburn LLP to provide legal services in connection with the Javits Site K development project and take related actions. Rebecca?
Thank you, Chairman. In line with the previous agenda item, in order to implement the Site K project, ESD and CCDC, with cooperation of the designated developer, must comply with legal and regulatory requirements, including the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, Section 14.09 of the New York State Historic Preservation Act, and the New York State Urban Development Corporation Act. Such undertaking will require specialized environmental legal expertise in conjunction with the outside environmental consultant to prepare and review requisite SECRA documentation, including an environmental impact statement. After a competitive bid process, staff recommends retention of Carter, Ledyard, and Milburn LLP to provide environmental legal services for the project based on knowledge and expertise of the firm, the relevant experience, and the pre-qualification process. Carter, Ledyard is a New York City law firm with vast similar experience in providing environmental legal services and reviewing projects for SECRA compliance for similar large and complex development. And the firm has satisfactorily performed similar work for ESD for many years. The term of the contract will be 2 years with options to extend for up to 2 additional 1-year terms. The compensation will be structured on a time and materials basis with a not to exceed amount of $1 million and funded from the developer funded account established for site dispositions. The directors are requested to authorize a contract with Ledyard and Milburn LLP to provide legal services in connection with Javits Site K development project and to take related actions.
Thank you, Rebecca. Are there any comments from the public? Any questions or comments from the directors? If not, we will now entertain a motion for approval.
The contract.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries, and now there being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, everybody, and I wish everyone personally a happy and healthy new year.
Thanks. Thank you.